Hello dear students, how are you? I think you are fine by the grace of Almighty Allah. I am also fine. Dear students, today I will discuss with the students of degree final year. I will discuss with you compulsory English and a topic from the subject entitled WH question. The students, I will try to show you how to form WH question correctly. You know, this item will bear 5 marks and you have to answer the question making 5 WH questions from out of 7. You have to answer 5 WH question. Dear students, you know, to form WH question we use always WH words which are mainly some relative pronoun and relative adverbs. At first I will try to show you what are those relative pronouns and relative adverbs. Relative pronoun at the time of at the time of at the time of framing at the time of framing WH question WH question WH question we use relative pronouns relative pronouns relative pronouns. Okay, what are they? Relative pronouns who is who is who is what who is what who is what whom whom and whose these relative pronouns are used. We use relative pronouns who is, what, whom, whose, and relative adverb and relative adverb, relative adverbs, relative adverbs how, when, how, when, where and why, and why. You know, these relative pronouns, there are 5 relative pronouns who is begins with WH, and there are 4 relative adverbs how, when, where, why. We always use these WH words to form or frame WH question. Okay. Dear students, now we can go to discuss how to frame or how to form WH questions. At first I will try to show you a technique of making WH question or framing WH question easily. Suppose Q A S I. Okay, here QASI. This technique I will try to show. Q means question. Q means question. A means auxiliary verb. Auxiliary. S means subject, and I means infinitive, without two. Infinitive without two, that means verb, present form of verb. Infinitive, we know 2 plus verb, base form of any verb is called infinitive, so we will use infinitive but without two. So from this very method we can learn easily how to make or how to form WH question. Q means question. You have to at first add a question word or WH word first. Suppose give an example here. She wrote a letter. She wrote a letter. If we form a WH question from this very sentence, she wrote a letter, an example of course. Example. At first you have to add a WH word or question word. That means what? I can use here answer. What? What is a WH word and question of course. What? Question. What? Auxiliary verb according to the tense of the sentence. Wrote is the first form of verb, so as auxiliary verb we have to use did. What did? Auxiliary. Yes, subject she. What did she? Next one, infinitive or verb without two. Infinitive means without two infinitive. What did she write? What did she write? This is the answer. So question, WH question, auxiliary verb did, subject she, and infinitive without two, write. So using this method you can write or you can frame WH question so easily. Another example. Dhaka is. Example another one. Dhaka is 70 kilometer from. Dhaka is 70 kilometer from Aricha. Suppose 70 kilometer from Aricha. Here, when we indicate a distance at the time of making WH question, we use how far. Answer here. How, WH question, WH word, this question word, how. Next, how, auxiliary, how far. To indicate a distance we use how far. Next one will be auxiliary is, how far is. Next subject Dhaka, How far is Dhaka? How far is Dhaka from Aricha? From how far is Dhaka from Aricha? Aricha. This is the answer. So, if you notice clearly or attentively, you have found that Q means question, A means auxiliaries, S means subject, and I mean infinitive. I means infinitive without to. So, using this short method, you can form WH question easily. Now, we can discuss in details. Okay, to indicate place, we use WH word where. We use where. Okay, example, to indicate place we use WH word where. Okay, example, the man came from Khulna. The man came from Khulna. If we try to form a WH question from this sentence, we can use answer where the man came from. Where the man came from. Where the man came from. So, to indicate place, we use always where the man came from. Next one. To indicate time, we use when. To indicate time, we use always when. Example, she visited Cox's Bazar last year. Okay, she visited Cox's Bazar last year. So, to form WH question from this sentence, we use, of course, when did auxiliary, when did subject she, when did she visit principal verb, when did she visit Cox's Bazar. When did she visit Cox's Bazar? When did she visit Cox's Bazar? Okay. So, to indicate time, we always use when. Here another point may arise. Another to indicate duration of time, to indicate duration, D-U-R-A-T-I-O-N, to indicate duration of time, we use how long, we use how long, how long. Okay, example, to indicate duration of time, we will use always how long. Okay, example, they waited, they waited for 2 hours, 2 hours. So here 2 hours is a duration of time, 2 hours. Okay, in this case you have to frame the question with how long. Okay, answer. First one, how long, how long. Next one, auxiliary, how long did, because the main verb is in past indefinite tense. How long did, subject they, how long did they, principal verb wait, how long did they wait. Okay, so when you will ask about the duration of time, you have to use how long, of course, how long. Next one, to indicate frequency of time, frequency of time. When to indicate frequency of time, you have to use how often, how often, how often, how often. You have to use how often. Okay, to indicate frequency of time. Suppose, for example, he visits his parents twice a month, twice in a month, he visits his parents twice in a month. That means how often. To form WH from this sentence, you have to use how often, of course. Answer, how often. At first you have to write down how often, how often, how often. Auxiliary does, how often does he, subject he, how often does he visit, how often does he visit his parents, how often. Okay, to indicate frequency of time, you have to use how often does he visit his parents. Okay, how often. Next one, to indicate number To indicate number, we use how many, how many. Okay, to indicate number, to indicate number, we use always how many. Example, I bought I bought 10 books. I bought 10 books. Okay, from this sentence, if you want to frame a WH question, you have to use how many books. Okay, how many, answer, how many books, object, how many books did you, how many books did you buy, how many books did you buy. Okay, when we ask about any number, we will use how many, of course, how many. Okay, how many books did you buy. Here another point should be mentioned, that when WH question will be formed from a sentence containing first person subject, we have to change the first person into second person. Okay, I has been changed or turned into second person. This is an important topic or important point. So to indicate number, we always use how many. Next one, to indicate quantity. Okay, now quantity, to indicate quantity, to indicate quantity, we use how much, okay, to indicate quantity, we use how much. Example, the shirt there was a little water in the jar. There was a little water in the jar. Okay, here a little water, that means quantity of water. So in this case, you have to form WH question with how much. Answer, how much water was, auxiliary here, how much water was there, in the jar, how much water. Okay, here I have used how much, of course, to indicate quantity. Okay, how much water was there in the jar. Okay, next one, to indicate any object or to indicate any object or thing. Okay, to indicate any object or any inanimate thing, we use what or which, what or which, to indicate any object or any inanimate thing. We always use what or which. Example, she bought a toy. For example, from this sentence, if we want to frame out this question, we have to use what or which answer. Here, what is appropriate? What did she buy? Okay, so to indicate toy on an inanimate object, I have used what did she buy? Okay, what? Okay, okay, dear student, from today's discussion, we have at least learned how to frame WH question using a structure. I will repeat the structure. UASI. Here U means question, A means auxiliary, S means subject, and I means infinitive without to. Okay, using this unit structure, you can frame WH question so easily. Q means question, W is question words, and auxiliary verb will be used according to the tense of the sentence, given sentence, and then you have to use subject and then infinitive without to, that means the present form of verb, and you have to use an extension if it is given in the question or in the sentence, given sentence. So from this structure, we can easily frame WH question using question, auxiliary, subject, and infinitive without to, of course. Okay, dear learners, I hope you will be benefited from this discussion, and try to continue your study sincerely, and try to maintain health guidelines to save yourselves from corona pandemic. Okay, goodbye.